It's morning, the sun's coming up on day 3 of skinning. I've got all my hams hung up just to keep the air going around them. I don't want to leave them set on the table. As I skin and process all these deer, that's going to be the last move I do, is mess with the back hams. I think I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I got 12 puppies on the end of the rack here that need to be skinned out still. We're gonna get this done today. I'll probably still be grinding hams up into tomorrow, so about 4 days of processing all this stuff, and I might have 2 freezers filled up. I've got a few more freezers left to fill, so that'll be good. There's plenty more deer in the woods to go chase. Alright, the rest of my deer have been skinned. Excess hair has been torched off, most of it anyway. Now it's time to take meat off of these critters. What I'm going to do now, and remember, in New Jersey we fire buckshot at these deer, so they're not shot with a single bullet. If you're shooting deer with a rifle, where it's allowed, you aim for the chest, you shoot through the ribs and the vital organs. You might sometimes get a front shoulder. But as long as you hit the deer right and it's a good situation, you're going to have the back legs, the back straps, the inner loins. You're going to have a lot of good meat. Unfortunately, when you're firing buckshot at these deer, you get a splatter, you get sprays. So these deer have been sprayed with pellets. If you're lucky, you just get the front shoulder and the rib cage and the vital organs. Unfortunately, lots of times you end up with pellets in the back straps, pellet in the back leg, pellet in the neck, pellet in the front shoulder. This one here has been hit good. He's been hitting the front shoulder with 3 pellets, in the rib cage with a bunch of pellets, and the rest of him looks good. Until we get back there and we realize that 1 pellet got him in the back ham. So there's a back ham there that's going to have very little good meat on it, unfortunately. If we look at this one here, he took a shot high on the back. Half his loins will be good. Front shoulders might still be good. Back legs still good. So, and you just go down the line, and unfortunately, this one, you lose the front shoulder. It's got 5 or 6 pellets in his front shoulder. Midsection didn't bother much besides the ribs. His hams are good. And it just goes like that. You want to have the best quality meat, so you don't throw a big glob of bloodshot ham down on your kid's plate. They're never going to eat deer meat if you do that. If you feed your girlfriend a buckshot pellet and her deer steak, she's never going to eat deer meat again. So you have to be careful when you're processing this meat. You want to do a good job. I want to make sure everybody wants to eat the meat that I'm going to feed them. If I do a bad job, I fail. This whole project, this whole lifestyle of mine comes to an end. Kids are not going to eat some bloodshot meat. They want good stuff, the best stuff. So it's time to take these deer apart, and I'm just going to go over how I do it. And I'm not telling you how you should do it. I'm just telling you how I do it. Where would you like to go? So what I'm going to do now is take my favorite cut first. Back straps. I find the beginning of the pelvic bone, which is right here next to the ham, where the ham starts, and cut all the way across horizontally to the spine. Then run my knife right down the edge of the spine to the deepest part, down to the ribs. And just run that all the way down to the neck. Get my thumb in there very carefully, and then just use my knife to make sure it's pulling off of the ribs and not pulling my back strap apart. And go carefully. You don't have to go fast. It's not a race. I'm not in a competition with anybody. I'm trying to get my favorite cut of meat and get it out of there as cleanly as possible, so that when I finally sit down at the dinner table, I can enjoy the best meat in the world. All right. just like that. You can just work it all the way down. You can cut from the other side too. If he's laying down on the ground when I cut him up, I might do that. But when I pull from, when I got my deer hanging, this is the way I like to do it. Once I get it pulled out like that, I just peel it off the back fat. This is a little deer, so it doesn't have a whole lot of fat. There we go, and just pull it down, and it'll pull right up out of the neck. Nice little back strap. Very nice. That there is the best meat on the planet. Now the front shoulders. We'll do the same thing here. Work the knife right down the spine, all the way down to the ribs, to the deepest part. Get my cut going, make sure it's cut all the way to the bone, and then just peel that back strap off the ribs. Just like that, I've removed the other back strap. So nobody's gonna be happy if you feed that to them. We can try this shoulder because it looks like the pellets came out the rib cage here. If I just cut that section out and cut around the shoulder blade, we'll see how this one looks.
You know how I get raw in here?
I don't know how you did it.
Did that, that's how
Now once again, we've got bloodshot meat, hair in the meat, just a pile of goo. We're not gonna feed that to the family. There's plenty of deer in the world. We're not starving. We don't have to eat that. We can feed that to the coyotes. Now I'll go up to the back legs and peel the bacon down, get it out of the way so that I can remove the inner loins, the tenderloins. This is most people's favorite part, but on such a small deer, you're not going to get more than a couple of bite-sized pieces off of it. But it's still worth taking. Get right in there and just peel them all. So there we have a mini junior tenderloin. Nice piece of meat, good for an appetizer.
Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah, yep, sometimes I find some old junk piles when I'm out in the woods and I bring the stuff home.
Wow.
I thought it would be a nice decoration. Do you like it?
Look what else I found.
What else did you find? Oh wow, nice.
What was that for?
An old U-bolt. Probably came off a truck or something that I was working on. Hard to say.
Maybe because when you were driving back your monster car up, it fell off.
Maybe.
But it's still back up.
I don't know for sure.
I'm going to take bigger ones to come out here.
Okay, sounds good. Now just carefully removing this back strap. Unfortunately, that's a half a back strap there because this one's been shot up. There we go. Very nice. One more beautiful back strap. Headed to my table. I got my back strap pile here. I'm gonna put a pile of front legs here if I ever find some that don't have pellets in them. And then the back hams are gonna hang until the rest of all this is processed. All right, so here I've got a pile of back straps and inner loins. Looks like it's ready to eat, but this isn't beef or pork. I've got to go and peel off all of that silver skin and fat. If I throw a beautiful tenderloin down on my kid's dinner plate with a strip of silver skin on it and they've got to chew that up and spit it out, they'll probably never eat deer meat again. So I do a very good job. I remove all the silver skin, all the fat, any bloodshot pieces here. You can see this one's a little bloodshot from a pellet zipping through there. That'll get chopped off, cleaned up. everything will be perfect. I got a small pile. I've got a small pile of front shoulders here, and I'm going to show you how I process my front shoulders. Front shoulder goes like this. I'm going to clean my knife that way. My hands are clean. Everything is pretty well cleaned up from touching the hides. There's still a little hair hanging around, but we'll just peel it off, or peel the outer layer of fat off if it gets to be too much. So this is a front leg. It's been cut below the front leg bone has been cut where it goes over from the shoulder blade. So basically what I'm eating when I eat that is the meat off of the shoulder blade, the meat around the front leg. You cut that bone, you get the bone marrow coming out. That makes everything even better while you're eating it. And I run it right up into the neck, down to the rib cage, and get all this fatty meat off of there. And when we cook it, the fat will separate from the meat. But I flip it over, and there's a big chunk of gooey fat on the inside. And I just cut down and peel that off and get that mess out of there. Again, you don't want your kids spitting this out at the dinner table. If you can do away with that, that makes the whole process a little bit easier. On top of the front shoulder, if you're looking at it, this is the shoulder blade coming down to the knee here, or whatever that's called, that joint. Right on top, there's a gland, and it's encapsulated in fat. You just take your knife and go right around it, pull that whole gland out. This one's been cut in half, so you can actually see that gland in there. I don't know what it is or what it does, but I don't eat it, so we'll put it over there. If I get hungry enough, I would definitely eat it, and would probably be good for you. I'm just gonna peel this outer layer of fat off because it's got a little bit of dirt and hair on it. We want this piece of meat to come out very clean and tasty. A little bit of fat peeling off, so I'll just get it the rest of the way out of my way. There's a piece over here I'd like to trim off. And this is a small shoulder, so I'll end up doubling it up in the package. When I package this, I'll package it with another one. It'll be 2 shoulders. Be a nice big meal for my family. Probably have some leftovers as well. The dog might even get a few scraps. All right, very good. There goes that. Here comes another. All right, so here's a front shoulder off one of the smallest deer you could ever catch in December. This deer can't be more than 5 months old. A healthy little deer, you would think. Didn't look like he had any broken legs. I would say 10% of the deer that I kill in New Jersey have wounds, usually from cars. Usually they've been involved in a car accident and they've got broken legs that have healed, or sometimes they're just dangling and hanging on. Broken ribs a lot of the time, broken necks that heal sideways. This deer seemed totally healthy. Didn't look like it had any wounds in his shoulder, so I took his front shoulder, and as I'm peeling the fat off, well, there wasn't much fat on it, I pulled that gland off. Here, this would have been his neck, is a wound, is a pellet, but it's not a pellet, it's a bullet, and it's totally healed over. He's totally healthy and okay. This deer can't be more than 5 months old, and he's been shot already and healed. What happened, sweetheart? Are you okay? Oh no. Are you okay? What are you doing? Walking with a pizza? Is that a pizza? What do you got? Go back and see Mom and get a new pizza. Okay?
You know what?
Go see Mom, tell her you need a new pizza. That one's all dirty.
You know what? She fell and she was crying.
I know. Thank you. Did you help her?
No, Digger was over there with her.
Okay. Go ahead.
Daddy, her hands are okay now.
Oh, good. Good.
No, my other hands are dirty.
Okay. Hey, guys. Hi, Bolt.
The apples take you away. Keep you away from the dentist.
I got all the deer meat here, and I'm gonna put it in bags. That's the coyote skin, yep.
Why, Daddy?
I'm gonna put all the meat in bags and put it in our freezer so we can eat it later.
Why?
Roro loves deer meat. So do we. I like deer meat too.
Why? You're gonna bring more meat down for me to cook, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so I'm gonna make a video real quick. This deer couldn't have been more than 5 months old, and it's already been shot and healed. We're gonna pull the bullet out, and it's not a bullet.
Daddy, why?
That's from Snapping Turtle from the summer.
Daddy,
It's not
why?
yours. Yours is bigger.
Daddy,
Yours isn't done healing.
Daddy,
Yours isn't done curing.
why?
Why what?
Flipping cake. And why you cameras?
That's my camera, yeah.
Why you cameras on?
Because I'm gonna make a video about the meat.
Why?
No, that's a little turtle. That's a little snapping turtle head. We got the big one. He's curing still in
Daddy,
salt.
why you got a meat?
Yeah, gold hookie's still curing in salt. So I'm gonna pull this out. This is
He's a big old snapping turtle with a gold hook in his hand.
That's right. All right. Not right now. I'm working on this meat. You see this?
Yeah.
This is a deer's front leg, and this was part of his neck.
What
And
is that little golden thing?
that's a bullet. Somebody shot this deer right in his neck with a target practice gun, a 177 caliber pellet rifle. So we've got a 177 caliber pellet that I just pulled out of this deer's neck. Went through his skin into his muscle. He totally healed from it. A little bit of scar tissue in there. But this deer was pretty healthy running around with a pellet in him. Probably didn't even flinch when he got shot. So some kid or some grown-up with a pellet rifle shot this deer but didn't kill it, and it ran around with that bullet in his neck for the rest of his life until he got shot with a big gun.
Daddy,
Yes?
does gold hookie's mouth still bite?
No.
Aww. And they're like flying. But with him trying to bite us.
You saw a shadow?
Yes.
Wow.
And it won't wait for me.
Wow.